Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the new Boss Katana 100 amplifier. And this is kind of new for Roland. They're basically going to be shifting the focus from the Roland brand of amps over to the Boss brand of amps. Now, if you're not familiar with this, keep this in mind. Roland is pretty much the first, or one of the first, solid-state practice at-home amplifiers. They were there way before PV and Crate and, of course, Fender and Line 6 and all those guys arrived. And they had such a big chunk of that market for so long that over the years, now that those other brands have basically taken up, arms, sort of, like with the Fender Mustangs and the Black Stars and the Line 6 and the PV Vipers, and, it just seems to go on and on, right? And so basically now they've decided to retool, rebrand, and become something a little new. So what do we have? Well, we have the new Boss Katana amps. Now they took all the stuff that they knew that worked well with the Roland Cubes, and then they kind of expanded on that. And one thing is for sure when you mess with it, it's definitely got Boss soul in it. So if you're a fan of their pedals, you'll be a fan of this amp. If you're familiar with ME70, ME25, ME50, and so on, where they're basically Cosm models of Boss pedals. Now this doesn't use the branding of Cosm, but that being aside, it definitely has that Boss modeled vibe. So it has all their pedals. Now, ironically, you can actually plug this into your computer, Mac or PC, and you can download over 50 Boss pedals. You can use it as a direct recording interface. It's pretty much endless what you can do, but more importantly, you can do none of those things and just have a great amplifier. So let's get into it because it's a pretty exciting amp. Some of the interesting features on this amp that are not seen on other competitors is the new kickstand. So they have a kickstand that you can kick the amp up and tilt it at an angle. And what I find interesting about that is if you're playing small gigs or at a patio somewhere outside or at a church, you could use this as your monitor, line it out to the PA and just use this straight up as your monitor. I can see where this is going to replace a lot of players from bringing a small pedal board. They could just bring this amp and it's all encompassed into one. Now the other feature that's really unique is it has a power staging effect. In other words, it has an ability to switch between 100, 50, and half a watt. Now, where that might seem silly because it's solid state, it really can't change the dynamics of the power section. That's not what you're going for with this. You're not trying to kind of sag the amp down. What you're doing is you're making it easier for late night playing. In other words, you can kick that down and you won't feel the speaker move so much and you don't have to create a lot of low end frequencies. You can play really, really quiet and you can maintain your settings, which is a nice feature as well. Sometimes when you turn the volume down, you want to adjust EQing, but in this case you could just power stage it down. I found all my settings were left the same and I really had kind of like a let's go for it, turn it down a little bit and late night play kind of switch. One of the things I really like is right now on the Brown sound, you can use it and just clean up. So I enjoy that because just like any other tube amplifier or an amplifier I would use, I may not have the ability to use a foot switch and want to toe tap. I might just want to clean it up, just like I said, just for a song. So I felt no limits in the way the amplifier worked. This amp also has an acoustic setting, so you can plug your acoustic right into it. So again, at a small gig, you could bring your acoustic and your electric and you have one in the same amp. Now, it doesn't have a feedback eliminator. That would be a really cool feature. But in this case, this acoustic guitar has that feature. And then what's nice is you can do things like, I'm gonna use the looper pedal right now and just kind of get that kind of like that. This amp actually has the ability to go on standby. Look at that. That sound is gone. We're in standby mode now on the amp. Nothing has gone away. It just sounds like it. Look, watch what happens. And then that's the half watt mode, 50 watt mode, and 100 watt mode. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back up. I'm going to go to the lead setting on the amp. Got my looper going. Let's bring it back up. Now I'm going to run you through a couple fun sounds in the amp. This is basically the metal sound. I'm in the brown mode. I'm at gain at 9 o'clock. Now here's where I really appreciate the amp. I'm back in the clean mode. And instead of going to their preset distortions, which are pretty good, we're going to use the overdrive pedals they've given us. And so the first thing we do is we're going to turn on, what we're saying is, this is the blues driver pedal. And it really feels like I'm playing through a pedal. It's really nice. And I like the delay. We'll kick it down a little bit. I'm a little too much on that delay right now. Let's go to the next pedal. All you have to do is push this button and you're in the next pedal. Here is your overdrive pedal. So what did I learn? Well, I tried the head. The head is really impressive. The 5-inch speaker in it is amazing. For low playing at night or low playing practice, I can see where that head with that speaker is a fantastic little bedroom playing amp. And of course, having the ability to take it to a gig, put it on a 212 cabinet, get a lot of power out of it. And that brings me to this. This is the 100-watt 112. I think if you were going to take it to gig, as long as the guitar player you're with on stage with has like a 30-watt tube amp, you should be okay. As soon as they hit 40 or 50 watts, I think you might get lost in the mix. This amp is loud, but as you turn up, it doesn't cut as much, and that has to do with the solid-state technology. So if you're really concerned about having an amp that really drives through, you may want to look at the 212 combo or the head so you can run a bigger cabinet and run a little harder. Well guys, as always, if you like this video and you'd like to see more, hit subscribe and like the video and share. That always helps the channel grow. I really appreciate that. Down in the link down below, there's all the other ways you can check out Know Your Gear, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. And as always, thank you for your time and know your gear.